Yeah, Doug's got a bad cold, so he didn't want to expose everybody.
Right, we don't want to.
Appreciate that.
We're ready. We're live.
Welcome. Today is February 8th. This is the February meeting of the Allegheny County Industrial Development Agency. Present in the room are IDA board members Rich Yule, John Rickey, and myself, Randy Shaler. I'm the vice chairperson sitting in for Judy Hopkins, the chairperson. At this point, can we get a motion to approve the board minutes from January 11, 2024?
So move, or John?
Go ahead.
John made the motion, I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The next is the treasurer's report, the abstract report, which covers the expenses. Can we get a motion to accept that?
So move.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And the banking and financial summary.
Make a motion to approve that.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Craig, building maintenance report?
We ended up, had to replace the meter and the pump for the chlorine because they weren't activating correctly. They've been replaced. We still got a small problem that sometimes it's not registering enough chlorine, so Ben's going to be looking at that. But that's the only thing that I have. Other than that, we're good.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you. At this point, can we get a motion to go into executive session to discuss a contractual legal issue?
I'll move that.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
What's that? Aye.
We-
All right, I'm zoning.
We'll have two votes.
There we go.
I was-
We're back.
Help yourself to some coffee, guys, if you want.
Are we back on?
Yes, we're back on.
Okay. We're back in from executive session. Next are the action items. First is the final seeker resolution for PIC development in Alma, New York. Craig, can you describe briefly what that is?
Yeah, the project, we had a presentation at the last board meeting where PIC Development, they're from Long Island, have bought the old Coslo's facility in Almond, and they're going to redo it, basically fix up the apartments upstairs and do retail downstairs, and including possibly even a coffee shop. That's what the community was really engaged about, trying to get a coffee shop in there. I think they want a drive-through coffee shop is what they really want. And possibly even a small grocery store. So they're talking about doing some retail downstairs. Upstairs will be housing, and they're ready to start. And basically, we've looked at the seeker, and there's no positive or negative. It's a negative impact, so there really isn't anything. It's an existing building. He's dealt with the floodplain already, and he's worked with the health department on the sewer and septic system. So he's really making some good progress. So.
And we all have a copy of the resolution that's been prepared for us to adopt. Can we get a motion to adopt the resolution?
I'll move that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
We'll have to do,
Oh,
I think we have to do roll
okay.
call on these.
Chair Judy Hopkins is absent. Vice Chair Randy Shaler, I vote aye. Rich Yule.
Aye.
Doug Frank is
He
absent.
said he's having trouble logging on, so he's fine.
And John Ricky
Aye.
has been scored 3-0. Next item is the retail findings resolution for PIC development in Alma, New York.
And that's basically because we typically can't do retail, but this is in a distressed area, so we can. We still have to have the county sign off, but I've talked to the board chair, and it's fine. He thinks it's a great project as well, so.
Again, we have a copy of the resolution. Can we get a motion to adopt the resolution?
I'll move that.
Second?
Chair Judy Hopkins is absent. I vote aye. Rich Yule.
Aye.
Doug Frank. Absent. John Ricky.
Aye.
That is passed, 3-0. Next item is the approving resolution for PIC development.
That's for the
For the
financial
project.
assistance of the project itself, yes.
Again, we have a copy of the resolution. Can we get a motion to adopt the resolution?
I'll move that.
Second?
Any discussion?
So this is for the pilot, correct?
Yes, this is
Approve
for
pilot. and
the
then
financial
send us-
application, which is the pilot as well as the availability for abatement of the sales tax.
And the town board's on board with
Yes,
this.
because they were all positive on this, because they think it's a great project, yes, they.
Okay.
In circumstances like this, do we get some type of a sign off from the school board, from the town?
We've never gotten sign-offs, but they've been invited, they all attended the public hearing, and there was no comments, negative comments at the public
Okay, so
hearing.
it's a lack of negative
Right.
comments where something is brought.
Yeah, somebody,
Okay.
especially in this particular one, both the mayor as well as the supervisor were both there, as well as most all the board members.
Mhm.
And they're all positive, so they're very positive on this, and they understood what the pilot was.
Good point, though. I mean, just to have an official, support or.
Yeah.
Support for.
Letter of
project,
support.
Yeah.
Or I'm not sure that minutes, as long as we've proven that the minutes have been, or excuse me, that the notice of the meeting has been appropriately,
And they also,
Posted.
and they've actually attended. because they
and the
had
minutes and
opportunity.
the attendance And any comments?
Yeah, I think it's adequate what most boards would be doing versus asking a formal.
Most times you don't get any attendance.
This one was well attended.
So, and it was positive.
Both boards were fully there, so.
Really good.
Well, and I assume, Craig, if this board has some kind of a question about the reaction of a town, a village, whatever, you can provide us with the attendance and any minutes from.
And that's why we always
Public hearing, right?
contact that supervisor and or the village, because we want to have that input directly from them if there's something we would, and we brought it to the board before when there were questions, so.
Yep. All right. Can we get a motion to adopt the resolution?
I'll move it.
Second.
Any further discussion? Chairperson Hopkins is absent. I vote aye. Rich Yule.
Aye.
Doug Frank absent. John Ricky.
Aye.
Carried, 3-0. Next item we have is the amended final seeker and the approving resolution for the Augustus Solar Wellsville project.
We had already approved the seeker before, as well as the approving resolution for this project. It's in Wellsville. When they went to submit this project to the county planning board, they had a minor modification. Some of the layout, it actually became smaller, not bigger. So any potential impact would have gotten smaller, but we were asked to review the seeker again, and it's also come out again negative, so there is no impact. So we're good on it. We just wanted to basically do both, have both the seeker as well as the approving resolution, because you have to have the seeker approved before you can do the approving resolution. So we changed the seeker a little bit. We need to basically approve the project again.
Do we need, Craig, will we need to do two individual votes then?
No, it's just one. It's just one.
Okay.
It's all together, yeah.
All right.
One resolution.
So if there's less land, does that change?
No, the
Pilot.
land isn't this change. It just the layout just changed. a
Just the
little bit.
layout
Yeah.
within the, okay.
So can we get a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Chairperson Hopkins is absent. I vote aye. Rich Yule.
Aye.
Doug Frank absent. John Ricky.
Aye.
Again, 3-0. That's it for action items. And we'll go into old business. The first item is the sale of property that's owned by, two parcels of property owned by the IDA. After discussion, it was determined there's some more investigation to be done by this body. So there's no action at this point. Craig, does CBDG CARES Act SBA grant?
Yeah, I have a short report. I didn't ask Mike to join us today because it was pretty short. I've been talking to him on the CARES Act, the SBA. Basically, we got the extension requested to March 29th, 2024 to basically expend all the money that's left. And they were happy with what we did at the last board meeting, so we're good. And he's working to make sure that we get those last draws out so we'll be able to spend all the money. So that's good news. And on the other one, the other micro enterprise grant, we're working on the second draw. It has not come through yet, but he continues to work with all the companies. So there is no negative thing. They're both moving forward. So we're very pleased that we got the extension so we can make sure we get all the money out to the companies.
Excellent. What about the Gateway Center?
That was funny. He just left.
Yeah, he just took a call.
The Gateway
You want to
Center.
come back?
Yeah,
Let's put that at the
Yeah,
end.
we'd skip over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Clean energy projects, they're all moving forward. Independence had a interesting, remember we had the oil things that were transferred. They had to go back through actually and get a lot of approvals, reapprovals, because their permits ran out in December, but they got it all done. So they're finishing up their projects. And the have talked to the Alley Cat Wind project. they're still on board to potentially start this year, and the road use agreement is on Allison's desk for one last review. The goal, I talked to Chris, is to have that at the full board in March.
Okay.
Once that's done, they can move forward. They're actually, like all these big projects, they're rebidding with NYSERDA because the bid that they had accepted 4 or 5 years ago obviously is no longer valid because prices have changed so much. So they are rebidding, but they're pretty confident they'll start sometime at the end of the year.
Great Lakes Cheese.
No update from Kathy Young's group at Cornell. I will follow up with her again because they were hopefully going to find somebody to discuss with the Great Lakes Cheese on moving into that facility.
So now that our esteemed guest has returned.
You got up the second we were going to do the.
Yes.
One of those phone calls, sorry. So,
Let's talk about the Gateway Center for the Western New York Wilds.
as you know, we submitted some applications for funding. We should hear the IIJA application for the water line is in process with, it's under review at the federal level. There are some questions that have come up that Craig is aware of, we're aware of, that we have to answer for that. So I think we're in there. Had some discussions also about the water line. Oakley was involved in a meeting and Craig was involved in that as well. Tuesday? I don't know what day it was. Anyhow,
They all run together. Yeah.
we had some discussions with Hunt, looking at location for supplemental, you know, the question is, do you call it a tank, do you call it a tower, supplemental water system to augment what we will have. Those plans are moving forward. Looking at construction of the road, County Road 51, to start with some of that pretty quickly. So it seems like there's a lot of activity happening on the county side of gaining access and opening up this site for future development. So not sure what else you'd like to hear.
That's really all we need to hear. I mean, Tom, I talked to Tom too, and he said, like you said, the roadway is going to start fairly quickly here. They've already done some rushing, and they basically just need to get out there when the weather's good yet.
Excellent.
The last item we have for old business, the Allegheny County Strategic Plan for Economic Development.
Well, the P&D committee's approved it. I don't know if the board's going to approve that as well.
That they will.
Right.
For the
21st.
21st, okay. And the next order of business is Tim's setting up, and I've been working with, they're going to have 3 counties committed to explain setting up an EDO or Economic Development Organization. And I would guess this board could listen in on those if they want, right?
Right.
So Genesee, Chautauqua, and Lewis.
Correct.
And I'm very familiar with both Genesee and Chautauqua. I know the directors pretty well up there, so it'll be good to listen to them about why they did it. And Genesee actually set up an EDO 19 years ago, so they've been doing it for the longest time. And Lewis and Chautauqua are fairly new at it. So
And this is going to be a presentation?
Yeah.
To live at a board meeting?
We're going to try to live stream it.
Oh,
Tentative dates are looking at March 5 and 6. So we'll try to do 2.
but it may be a bit, I think it's, it's how we're all going to be working together on the strategic plan. And the other thing is the March 26th, we're setting up another mixer at the Cuba Opera House. And you'll be invited to that. It's 4:30 to 6, right?
What day, Craig?
March 26th. And we've got a small panel of 3 companies that'll be presenting, White Imprints, Hardy Penwright, and Longstrom. So it'll be a small program.
Craig, going back to the EDO question.
Right.
Do we, and this may be a very stupid question, but
No?
I don't have a problem asking those. Genesee, Chautauqua, and Lewis counties,
Right.
do they all have IDAs?
Yes.
Okay, so these entities will be able to speak to the interface between the two.
And they're all
Work
different.
together.
That's what's interesting. They're all very different. The two I know very well, Genesee, their IDA is in their EDO more or less, and the EDA tends to do everything. Whereas in Chautauqua County, it's more of a county initiative. That's the IDA is part, you know, I'm saying they're all structured differently is what I'm getting at. So, but they all, in Chautauqua County, the person I know very well, he's the IDA director, but he's also employed by the county, and he actually runs the EDO as well. So it's all different models.
Which one's that?
Chautauqua.
That does one.
Or Genesee, it's all through the IDA. But they're much more mature. They've done it for 19 years.
And the March 5 and 6 dates are tentative, or are they firm?
They're tentative, we're trying to firm them up with the counties that are going to be doing the presentations for us.
Okay.
But when we get the dates, we'll make sure
And
the
then you'll
board
get to
knows.
us to
Yeah.
make us aware.
I think it'd be interesting to listen to how they work.
And those will take shape in the form of a work session for the Planning and Economic Development Committee, so they'll be available that you could, on our team's meeting, and observe them. So,
Yeah, they're live on Facebook, I think is what they transmit them on.
Excellent.
I don't know whether I can or can't, so kind of like comments from the public, I guess. And the strategic plan from the economic development, the other piece that we have is it'll be approved at the 21st board meeting
Yes.
is a public session talking about economic development that Camoin will be putting on. Will be a primary, more or less, for county government. It'll be open to local municipalities, it'll be open to businesses and other folks. So it'll be a community meeting, training session that we're looking at, probably somewhere where we could do an all-day session. So there'll be more information coming about that once we get that part of the contract fully approved by the board. So it'll be a public information training session.
So I think it'll help all the community members to know how they can be engaged and involved in economic development, because you don't want everybody jumping over each other.
Yeah, and we do have some of that.
You know
right
that.
now.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be more coordinated in some aspect.
What do you think, Tim Wise, as far as, Tim Wise, that's good, time wise, Tim? What do you think as far as timing of that?
My guess would be, we'd probably be looking somewhere between mid-March and mid-April.
Okay.
That we could pull all that together.
And Camoin's good at that. They've done this before, so that's their expertise.
By the time we get it approved, we go through that, locate our facility and for the training and get it advertised.
But we will have had the benefit of the meeting prior to that with the three counties.
Right.
So we will have that information. Really.
Which I think is very helpful putting this all together. I think it's falling together pretty well.
It's good that it's falling together as opposed to falling apart.
Or being put together
Whatever.
on purpose.
Any other old business? Tim, thank you very much.
I don't know if this is old business or new business, but I
What's
sent
that?
Craig an email about Longstrom. They are building, hiring a bunch of people building windmill parts. And then I've seen some articles lately where because of the inflation and pricing and they can't get what they need to build things for these windmills, that some of these projects are being scrapped. And so, the one article I read about was the same, the developer had the same name, one of the developers that Lundstrom's, landed a contract with. And so I asked Craig to ask Lundstrom, I don't know how many wind contracts they've got, how many they received. They were successful, low bid, or whatever the word is. And is this going to, impact if all of a sudden they did an addition and retooled their plant, hired all these people, and then all of a sudden these contracts go away, what's going to happen? And I just wanted to know about that. So I can send everybody else that info. I just saw it yesterday, so I just shot it to Craig really quick to see if he can, I don't know if you had time to actually talk to them.
I have
about
reached
it.
out to them, my other hat is Alfred State College, VP of Economic Development. We're working on them with a big $1.5 million training grant.
Mhm.
And I do know to date, they've hired 149 skilled tradespeople, and they've all been trained, and we just did extra training actually in October, November, December. So there's no impact to date, but there may be in the future because it is the same company, but it's not the same project. I think they had 3 or 4 projects going on the East
It's
Coast.
like Ocean Wind 1, Ocean Wind 2, those are both were scrapped. And
Right.
Ocean Wind, I think either 1 or 2 was listed in the article, local article,
Right.
maybe in the Times Herald. So I know at least one of those is
Sure.
scrapped, for sure.
But Matt Ferris will get back to me and I'll let the board know.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe send an email.
I will.
We don't have to wait till the next meeting.
No, I'll let you know as
About
soon as they respond to me. And I
Yeah.
actually work a lot with their HR department.
that. Right, and if there's anything further we can do to help,
Right.
if there is any kind of an issue.
Well, I think some of those projects probably will come back. I think a lot of it was kind of like what's going on with NYSERDA right now. The prices have changed so much that they can't basically be held to the projects that they approved, 5 years ago. Sometimes it takes 10 years to get these damn things going, and then they don't have the money has changed so
Doesn't
much.
interest rates, that was also cited in the articles,
Right.
interest rates are so much higher, the projects don't make sense anymore.
So
But, okay. thanks. So you'll
I
come
have
out.
reached out to them, but I'll whenever I get the answer from Matt, I'll let you know.
And then this Acme building in Cuba, that's being all refurbished and retooled, like what's going on there? We don't have anything to do with that, right? They didn't come to us for a pilot?
No more. No, they have the old pilot, but nothing
Okay.
new.
We're talking Tracewell building or the old act?
The old
I don't know.
There's the
The
old
one that's
Acme
being like
building.
refurbished.
Yeah, I've talked to Emil. I've been in the facility. He's actually spending some money and actually he's got most of it rented, not all of it, but he's done a good job.
What's the other building?
Well,
The Tracewell building.
Tracewell
Tracewell's
building's
a
the Indian
huge
zone.
one. Okay, right. What are they-
That's a Seneca Nation project.
Okay, so they don't.
There's something happening
Yeah,
up there.
okay.
I see some traffic in it.
Well,
So, but I don't know.
They were, last time I had talked to them, they were talking about doing, growing marijuana.
Yeah,
in that
that's what I
facility.
heard of that stuff. But
Because we had somebody actually ready to rent it and they changed their mind.
I don't know who owns the Acme building now.
Emil Ash, I work with him.
He owns it now?
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause I know Duality owned it. And
Yeah, he did, but now Emil Ash.
Sanzo, I thought, or.
Yeah, Sanzo was the ones that we gave the original,
Okay, then he went
work
to Duality.
that
now
will be,
it's- now
now
it's
it's Emil
Emil
Ash.
Ash.
So because they own that building, is that part of the sovereign nation? I mean, it's not on there.
That actually is.
Yes.
It's part of,
It
it was
wasn't-
already on
it wasn't
their
original.
land.
It wasn't originally, it is
Yeah.
now.
It is now.
They
Yeah,
transferred it.
annexed.
They
Annex, oh, that's my question.
They basically changed that because it was only where they were and had their shops and everything else, but they actually added that
Okay.
5 years ago.
18.
Yeah, you were on the,
I was
we went through all
humbly
that.
giving it over to them.
Yeah, I know.
They did
Okay.
as well.
So, okay. Those are the only 2 questions I had.
Well, I have one as a new business item and I sent it out, but just for information at this time is that Alfred University is asking the CRC board to basically do some bonding for that Jericho Hill project. And as soon as they're ready, we'll have a CRC meeting just to inform the board because it's the same board members.
So we'll be issuing bonds?
Well, we'll be the pass-through for the bond.
Right.
I mean, obviously, the whole obligation is Alfred University.
Right,
It's just
right.
like we did with Houghton.
Yeah.
It'd be about a $20 million bond.
So the IDA would collect a fee for that?
The CRC does, yes.
CRC.
So I'll let you know as soon as we're ready to do that. We'll have a board meeting. That's all-
Any additional new
That's all I
business?
have.
Anything for good of the order? Got it. Go ahead.
I motion we adjourn.
I'd second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
I only need 1 cup of coffee today, Randy. I gotta buy 1. You run this.
Hopefully my